Good morning, everyone. Today, in the Social Accountability Week 2 lecture, the learners at the end of this lecture will be able to identify the potential benefits of social accountability application and understand key indicators that used to monitor social accountability in health professions institutions. First, application of social accountability in medical schools will result in the relevance that the important health problems will be tackled first, and the quality of the service will be improved by using evidence-based medicine and higher technology to serve population. Also, the cost effectiveness with best use of resources, and that high quality health services will be available to all. The 12 indicators of social accountability are: the first one related to students' admission. Students' admission should be selected based on their interest and the desire to work in areas of need, like students having a rural background. Also, increasing the socioeconomic, ethnic, and geographical diversity of students by using strategies including quota systems, providing additional weighting for students from rural or underrepresented populations, and also selection tests to assess personal attributes such as strong interpersonal skills and empathy. The admission selection committees should include key stakeholders such as members of underserved or marginalized populations in the committees. So, effective policies should be put to applying programs or partnerships aimed at achieving diversity among qualified applicants for medical school admission. The faculty members, recruiting and retaining a cadre of dedicated and well-trained academic and clinical teachers. However, two challenges are facing us. Number one, prioritizing research over teaching in some schools, and also that job is not well paid in low-income regions, so the faculty members need to do other jobs besides their career to increase their income. We should also recruit, train, and support practitioners and other healthcare providers practicing in the community as adjunct faculty educators in clinical and social sciences, thus expanding its pool of community preceptors. The third indicator is the faculty development. We should develop programs that support continuous professional education using information technology and other communication tools. Also, communicating with other schools at the university, like social and political sciences, medicine, engineering, education, health sciences, and community-based organizations to shape a comprehensive curriculum on social determinants. The faculty members will be instructed in principles of interprofessional education and active student-centered and service learning during student community placements. The fourth indicator is the curriculum content. We should first identify health and the social priority needs of the community, and then the curriculum includes a longitudinal theme on the social determinants of health woven through the various courses of the curriculum. The school education department acts as an educational resource hub that provides tools for curriculum development, teaching methods, tracks students' progression, standardize patients, do faculty assessments and assessments of programs and students, and also provide support for all departments. The fifth indicator is the teaching methods. It should be interactive and student-centered and enhance critical thinking, reflective practice, problem solving, and skills for lifelong learning. Also, the teaching methods should be aligned with the curriculum, using blended learning, focus on learners, use TPL and PBL approaches, encourage remote learning and remote mentoring for far students, and use virtual reality applications like gaming and other IT-supported approaches. Number 6, is the curriculum types and the location of experience. It should be a balanced mix of clinical experiences between primary care settings, secondary and tertiary hospitals. Longitudinal integrated clerkships or extended times in community settings. Learn to work in interprofessional teams and mutual learning between academia, local health authorities, communities, and community-based NGOs. Also mentored students should conduct community surveys, identify priority issues, and design and implement interventions based on agreement with all stakeholders, and lastly, the student evaluates the project results and impact. Number 7 is the community-based research. Research should be aligned. Research projects should be aligned towards the priority needs of the community. The reciprocal partnership between the school, the communities it serves, and the healthcare system delivery provides unique opportunities for establishing a collaborative research agenda. Research on how the educational process and education outcomes aligns with the needs of the health system and the priority needs of the community. Also, the faculty and students have to attune to ethical consideration related to community-engaged research. The eighth indicator is the governance. Integrating social accountability principles in decision-making will help in planning, evaluation, and resource allocation. And this should be done by integration between both internal stakeholders like students and faculty and external stakeholders like service providers and authority. Number 9, stakeholder partnership and engagement. Curricula should be developed in partnership with communities served by the school and with other stakeholders, students, service providers, governments, community-based organizations, and members of underserved populations. Number 10 is the school outcomes. The important outcomes that should be tracked: the placement of graduates, practices, retention of medical graduates in areas of greatest need, and the policy or practice impact of a research project. Also, we should remain in contact with graduates. Number 11, social impact. Measure graduates' impact on policies, practice, and performance of the health system and the health in the community, and assessing the effect of education strategies on health systems and population health. And the last one is the environmental accountability. That is the graduate medical education or the vocational training that plays a vital role in the production, deployment, and impact of the medical workforce. Vocational training, like I will show graduates the opportunities and possibilities. Thank you all for good listening and good luck.